Sit back, relax, crack a cold one, pack a bowl, do whatever you need. This is the Wrestling and Stuff Show. Your hosts, Patrick and Jack, the middle school dropouts. Welcome to the W.A.S.S Show. Welcome to another episode of the W.A.S.S Show. Yeah. It's the W.A.S.S Show.
Good times.
Gonna be a W.A.S.S show tonight.
Good time W.A.S.S show.
Anyway,
Brought to you by caffeine and red meat.
Yeah, caffeine and red meat. I had some pork. Who knows? You know, whatever.
You should just basically call that the name of the show now.
Pork,
like,
red meat, and whatever.
Let's eat and talk for a while and see where it takes us.
It's always going to take us to wrestling. I tell you that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we've been watching Raw lately. We just got done watching Raw tonight, live from Cincinnati, Ohio. It's May 11th. Daniel Bryan just put down the title.
Right, and everybody's sad. But I'm not.
You're not sad. I'm bummed.
Well, the thing is I'm okay with where the roster's at.
Yeah.
You know? You have guys like Bray Wyatt, guys like Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins all basically sitting around waiting to be pushed as main event stars. Why not just, like that spot's open now so they can go for it. And it's not like he announced his retirement. He just said he's going to be away for a while nursing injuries and he had to drop the belt. So everybody just calm down.
I know, but this has happened before.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are going to be like, come on, Daniel Bryan, is this what's going to happen?
Well, the thing is he needs to take significant time off to nurse some really, really serious injuries. Look at Shawn Michaels, for example, right? Now, a lot of people think that he took 5 years off, which would have been the peak of his career, when in actuality he needed those 5 years off so that he could have the best years of his career. Because he wasn't Mr. WrestleMania before his last run. He was known for having a couple good matches there, but he wasn't Mr. WrestleMania until his last 6 years, where he showed up at WrestleMania every year and put on a
hell of a show. Whether he was
what would have been considered the best match.
Yeah,
him and Jericho that 1 year crushed it.
I liked him in Triple H.
Yeah, wasn't that a? Are you talking about WrestleMania 20 where they had a third person involved in the match?
Yeah.
Dick.
I mean, other than that, yeah.
That was a good match. It was a shame neither of them won, and somehow the title got upheld.
It's just, I feel that we're at the middle of the road with Daniel Bryan, where you don't know how long he's got left. I mean, because a lot of people don't know. I mean, he's been in the business for quite a long time.
Over 15 years, almost 20 now. And he's always gone like that. He's always had that kind of a heavy work rate to where he works matches that were very physically demanding and almost like MMA fights. But, most people don't realize that. So the thing is, he's hurt. Like, if he's beat up, you want him to take the time to get himself in better shape. And it's like I've said, the main event picture is in good hands right now. Because you have Brock Lesnar looming over in the distance, like if they need to bring down like the mighty Smog from the mountain and have him fight things so that people buy, tickets and stuff. You have him there. Orton's still around, Cena's still around, and you have guys like Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose who are stepping up and taking like the spots that they need to.
And you got Ziggler and Wyatt. I mean,
Sheamus, Barrett. And then you got new guys like Neville and of course Sami Zayn making his debut last week.
A hell of a pop.
Yes, this is when they do the smart thing and debut a kid in his hometown. So, like I said, the future of the WWE is in good hands. If you watch NXT, you know that they've got another group of great talent that they can unleash on the WWE at any time. I'm a fan of Tyler Breeze, because he has music entrance music that describes who he is.
And we've always wanted to talk about this. We've talked about it off mic, but
Several times.
We've talked so much about how the old WCW days, where they were pretty much described
The wrestler and the entrance music. Yes, it was. But I mean, and they're kind of doing it now. Like I noticed it with Enzo and Cass's music that they kind of like describe who they are as people in the rap during their entrance music. But Tyler Breeze definitely has the whole "I'm gorgeous." Shawn Michaels would be the last, I guess, great one that you'd recognize. The last great entrance music that described anybody was, of course, Rob Conway's, which nobody gives that dude the respect he deserves. The Conway gimmick should have been over. That's all I'm saying. Like that should have been over. There's no excuse for the whole "I'm gonna do things the Conway." That Randy Newman entrance music, everything about that screamed douchebag heel. It was beautiful, and the WWE just didn't want to push it.
I mean, that's up to that room. I mean, as we found out this week when E60 released Behind the Curtain, which was a really good behind the scenes look at the WWE from a 2-year perspective. You know, because they recorded it over 2 years.
But if you ever want an idea of how it works, that was a great example.
Yeah, and you get to see the ups and downs. You get to see characters wrestlers that have to reinvent themselves if they want to stay relevant.
Yeah,
I mean, which you saw with Adam Rose.
To me, that's something you've always had to do. Like you're not always going to luck out and have a character like Cena, and even Cena falls into the trappings of being really, really stale, which is why he gets the reaction he does from the older fans.
Well, don't forget there was the rapping age Cena too.
I would kill for the Doctor of Thugonomics over this hustle, loyalty, respect horse shit that I've been dealing with for the last 10 years. Come on. Like once he got away from the rap gimmick and like the Marine came out, we've been dealing with the same John Cena.
Guy runs out, salutes,
yeah,
throws
like
it up.
the only thing he changes literally is the color of his shirt, and that's so they have a new shirt to sell.
Blue to old school blue this week, so we can sell the vintage.
Yep, bet money. The Champ is Here T-shirts have like a 2005 copyright sticker on the back of them. From the first time he won the United States title, and they're like, "Man, we got all these shirts in surplus. How are we going to get rid of them?" I know. Let's just give Cena the belt again.
And I know you guys that are listening, what few of you there are right now, we appreciate it. We really do.
We do.
But as you know, we go all over the place. And yes, there's going to be things we talk about that might piss you off, or things we're not going to talk about, which might even piss you off even more.
We're two adults with ADD. This is what happens.
Yeah, we're the middle school dropouts.
Well, I mean, I made it through school, but that's just...
Well, so did I, but I just think it's a really good tagline.
I think mentally, though, we may have dropped out.
Mental school dropouts?
Mentally, we dropped out in middle school. Middle school was about the time we're like, school's stupid. And we just kind of like went through the motions to pass tests and get through because the law stated that we had to go to school.
Like this one rapper said, too many goddamn rules. That's why I quit school.
I quit school because of recess, you fucking BG.
I quit school because they gave me the paper to tell me I was done.
They wanted me to play.
Hey, guys, we're going to take a break. We're back from that break. I know we just spent some time talking about Daniel Bryan putting down the belt. I gotta ask, with the addition to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view at the end of May, which just was announced tonight, do you think that's what the IC title is going to be for?
More than likely, that's what they'll end up doing now. I don't see why you wouldn't, especially if you're trying to raise the prestige of the Intercontinental title. Okay, you have a vacant Intercontinental title just sitting there. So, why would you have an elimination chamber for a number one contender for the world championship when you have a vacant belt sitting there. And then you can spend the next month having your matches to lead up to them going into the elimination chamber. And it's a really good thing for them to put over. Hopefully it'll be a smaller scale special event, like maybe just a little 2-hour special, like you remember the in your houses used to be.
That's what I'm thinking it's going to be, since it's going to be on the WWE Network, kind of like the King of the Ring that we had earlier this month.
Yes, good stuff.
You know, I would love to see a 2-hour event on WWE Network once a month. I really would.
I would like the 3-hour monthly pay-per-views to go away, actually. When you go watch the old stuff, older things, like you realize that a pay-per-view every other month would be great. Like quarterlies were the best.
Quarterlies was the best, where it was the SummerSlam, Survivor Series,
Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania.
Oh, man.
And they made you care about every match on that card.
The build-up was sick.
Because they weren't giving you the same match every week on TV. Like that to me is a big problem now. Is that by the time you get to the pay-per-view, you've already seen Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins 4 times. You know?
The week in, week out, I really kind of get tired of. They always end each one differently, which makes sense. Story-wise.
And that's part of like what they do on the road too, because at house shows they're pretty much putting on the same show every night, and they're really just trying to get all of their points down for when they do actually put on the big match, like what spots work well with each other, and they're just trying to figure out what's the best way for them to tell a story. But at the same time, it's not the same as when you were watching it when you were younger, right? And they kept people away from each other. Yeah. So by the time these two were facing each other in the ring, there was already this huge sense of tension, like what they did with Jake the Snake and Macho Man, where you had to deal with this whole tension of whether or not they were going to reinstate the Macho Man to wrestle ever again.
Yeah.
And you had to wait for them to rule on that. And then when they finally ruled on that, they wouldn't let Jake the Snake and Macho Man be in the same arena until they fought each other at Tuesday in Texas. And by the time they got to each other at Tuesday in Texas, that crowd was going bananas because they were like so excited to do that because they thought the Macho Man was going to kill Jake the Snake.
Yeah. I mean, and that's one of the things. I mean, you starve the dog so much that the steak becomes the best steak
Best
ever.
example is the $90 everybody wasted on that boxing fight, right? And I use the term boxing and fight so loosely when I describe that event. But like the $90 people dropped on that just because everybody wanted to see this fight. Everybody's been talking about this fight for 6 years. For 6 years, everyone wanted to see Pacquiao versus Mayweather. Pacquiao versus Mayweather. It's the only boxing match that really like drew enough attention. And you saw it killed. And it killed in the numbers. It didn't deliver. Because it was a typical Mayweather fight. Because
it was kind of like the last Bernard Hopkins pay-per-view fight, which B-Hop basically, he jabbed and then laid on the other opponent like all night long.
That was Mayweather was more or less jabbing and run, and when he came in, he got him.
Yeah,
like it was. I watched like 8 rounds of the fight and just couldn't do it anymore because I knew how it was going to go. And, I mean, I told everybody that before the fight, too. If it went to a decision, Mayweather was going to win. And another boring-ass Floyd Mayweather fight, and everybody's mad. They paid $90 to watch Floyd Mayweather once again pad his record. And now you have all the fun information coming out afterwards about how Manny Pacquiao was fighting with one arm.
And how he was denied,
Right, it was denied the shot.
Like that.
Well, that had to do with them not filing appropriate paperwork. But now Mayweather, of course, is saying he doesn't want to do a rematch. And, for a man that hits women to call some other guy a coward is just really annoying.
But, I mean,